So something's going on here. Because on my map here, it's called Noxious Gate. But on the waypoints you click on to navigate these maps, it's called Mongrel. Mongrel's interesting because it's the word that people keep using to describe humans, especially ones that aren't particularly altered. I wonder if we're gonna find out like a truth about humanity as a whole here or something. Maybe something worrying. Or maybe it'll be like the most normal place we've ever seen. He was running for some reason. Yeah, I might be right about it being the most normal place we've ever seen. It appears that this is... yeah. People in like big, like spacesuit looking costumes with blinking green lights around their heads. That's the hunter that we met earlier. The guy I keep referring to as like the most normal person. Because everything's so like divergent and distressing about so many different groups here. But like that guy just was like a guy in a mask. Gives out like Brotherhood of Steel vibes. The murky swamp water emits the smell of sulfur. But yeah, he's fishing, but like everything looks super irradiated and like poisoned. Like there's just straight up like barrels of sludge or some sort of contaminant or something just kind of in the water. I wouldn't really want to go fishing around here. Unless they're trying to fish the barrels out. I don't know. The meat storehouse. Dried hunks of crocodile meat are kept in storage here. Are they fishing for crocodiles, I wonder? Or baiting for crocodiles? Hello. Fucking nightmare creature just hanging out over here. Looks like he's about to ask me for sugar and water. Gas storage. This gas is used to power turbines, weapons, and cooking fires. Barrels of harvested swamp gas and other necessities have been neatly packed. Man, it does not seem healthy here. Don't have anything to say, huh? Same stat as always. I've had that item for so long. Is that what it sounds like when that guy breathes? I didn't really get these kinds of feedback from the other guy when I saw him. Dozens of crocodile rib racks have been hung from drying hooks. That's so many animals. And then they just have some cows and sheep just hanging out on the dock here? Huh. The sight. A little surprised to see the livestock, honestly. And they seem to survive around here. Do they just have to live on a dock for their whole life? The battered steel barrels are filled with gas from the surrounding swamp. I wonder if this is really a farm situation. Like, do they keep the livestock stuck around to use them for stuff, or do they just capture them and then slaughter them here? Because what's their long-term plan? Like, what do they feed them? Oh, wait, there are plants there. Is that plant life growing directly out of the dock? In sufficient quantities to be eaten by cattle? Is that doable? I'm only gonna get more questions the more I look at this, I think. The pipes appear to be extracting gas from the swamp. Those things are creepy.
Heads up, civilian. These guys are heavily armed.
Yes. Yes, they are. A lookout skulks in the shadows. I'm gonna leave that guy for later. That seems like the important spot. Let's look around here. Look at the size of that! Hide and flesh are being stripped from the dead body of a gigantic crocodile.
Look at the size of those teeth.
Yeah, no, that's a nightmare. I don't want to be in the swamp anymore. As if the gas and constant carcinogen feel wasn't bad enough. Definitely concerned. These civilizations seem to often have access to, like, oops. They do seem to often have access to absolutely massive sources of food. I guess that's a point in the favor of these civilizations. Just like how Witherberg had that giant worm. Still, how much do these things eat when I get that big? I think I heard that because there's one of the issues with growing creatures is that there is a mass to surface area problem. See, when you have a metabolism and whatnot, like you run hot and that heat has to escape your body. And so like that's one of the uses of extremities and webbing and wings and so on, is that like when you see like those dinosaurs that had like the fin on their back and then eventually like creatures that have wings, like one of the purposes of those kinds of places is that it's an area where you have really thin skin, and it's just like a flap of skin with veins running through it. And what happens is that your body can put out heat in order to cool down by pumping your blood, which is so hot, through those veins in those like narrow parts of your body. That's why webbing existed. It's one of the questions that comes up in when like evolutionary biologists are questioning evolution and natural selection and so on, is like, how do you argue in favor of why complex structures exist? Like, eyeballs are great, but how did you get to eyeballs? Because like you don't just get a genetic mutation and then suddenly something that didn't have eyes, next generation, boom, you have eyes. Like, you have to get shittier versions of that and so on. It's like one idea of like with eyes is that maybe originally there was just light receptors, like it was just simple binary state light and dark kind of information, like, you know, simpler versions of those ideas, and how that might be useful. It gave you an edge in a place where nobody else has eyes, for example. But that's one of the explanations for why things have wings. It's like, if you think about it, like, it seems like shitty wings would be shitty. Like, wings let you fly, but incomplete and underformed wings don't let you fly. So what purpose do they serve? And so they talk about ideas of like, well, you could still like jump higher or glide or like have the ability to like have some kind of mobility gain from your shittier wings that aren't good enough to maintain your entire body mass and like be able to move your entire body, maybe because your bones aren't hollow and your wings aren't big enough and so on. But then there's just the idea that like any kind of flap like that has a purpose, and that the larger the creature gets, the more it needs to get rid of its heat in order to survive. And I think that's supposed to be one of the explanations for like the strangeness that is like when you see that one dinosaur that's just like low to the ground on like a lizard, but it has this giant fin coming out of its back, is that like that fin was a way of cooling down and so on. So I get curious about creatures this big, because like the bigger they get, the more they have to deal with that heat problem. And I think I heard there was an issue where like dinosaurs were kind of reaching their peak of how big they could possibly get, because if they got much bigger they would start to boil, which is distressing to think about. But I look at this alligator here, and I'm like, oh, I guess, like, you are an aquatic life form. Like, the water itself is probably a way of ventilating. So being an underwater creature probably increases how big you can get, which more or less matches up when you start talking about the idea of, like, sharks, and especially, like, whales and squid, and just how incredibly massive some creatures in the ocean get. The reason why we have the word Leviathan, because of how astonishingly large and how creatures in the ocean can get, and how horrifying that can become conceptually. Beyond human understanding. Doyle, Doyle. There doesn't seem to be much else around here. Hello, sir. I would like to negotiate with you and your distressing these guys. Nope, can't think of what they're called. I think that is a creature that already exists, just not that big, obviously. Like, it's a really particular visual. I think the creature in Men in Black was based on them, but like I think that's a real modern insect. I feel like they find it in like cornfields and stuff, but I don't know. Oopsie. Close that too fast. I meant to close this. So how many forms of cancer do I have because I'm here without one of those masks? 'Cause I feel like I'm in trouble.
Yeah, but look at this one. He's got all his teeth, man. If the light hits them at the right angle, he's gonna blind me. What can I do for you, my bra?
He's got all of his teeth. If the light hits him at the right angle, he'll blind me. Alright, well, these people seem really regular, except for the whole living in Fallout situation. Are your parents related? My god, Mark Leslie. You have a lot of dialogue options that seem designed to get you shot.
I'm looking to make some new friends with the locals.
Hey, Pete. This Oak wants to be friends. Sorry, Wakey, but I got enough friends, eh? Why don't you, the Ducko, and your little Wakey run along and play somewhere else? See, this is for mongrels only. The last holdout. The one place that mongrels can be free. You could be a flay spy trying to get our slingshot. You're hiding one of those worms under all that hair.
They have the slingshot. So I need to get in. They have the slingshot, one of the 3 key items.
You have something called a slingshot?
No, I don't know what you are talking about. Spy.
I'm not a spy.
That's what a spy would say, eh? I think I saw your head twitching a bit, but you should get that looked at by one of your flayed doctors.
They live in constant paranoia, but you know what? Like, fair enough. You do live right next to the flay, and it's not a good thought. Just remembering they exist. It's a distressing group.
I promise you can trust me. How can I prove I'm not a spy?
Tell you what, if you bring me one of those flay worms, a live one, I'll let you in. I know you spaghetti heads would never give up one of your precious parasites. Until I see one of those little squirmy bastards staying on the side of the bridge.
Hey, I suddenly have a use for some of these items that I've just kind of collected over time without really knowing why. But now I have the problem. I'm like, haha, I already have the key for this lock.
Frick, you actually did it. Hey, Pete, check the eye. I didn't think you'd actually get one. They look dead even when they're twitching, eh?
But it is twitching, so it's clearly alive.
Yeah, you're right. I've only seen one of them when they're inside one of those flay skulls. And that's usually when the skulls are in pieces under my boot. Ozia!
Ozia! This guy throws the slang around constantly. I'm gonna not slow us down by googling all of it, because there's a lot of it. Alright, so that was convenient. I just happened to find that corpse and then stuck it into that thing, and turns out that, yep, found it. Hopefully he doesn't realize it's dead, but I don't know if he's going to. I'm not really sure how much more he's going to pay attention to it, really. I think he's more interested in me proving myself than necessarily like having it as a sample he wants to like study or really analyze that much.
I want to ask you about that slingshot you mentioned.
Why are you so interested in it, huh? It's not going anywhere, bro. Once you're inside, go talk to Commander Swart. Pete, fire up the braai. Tonight, we're gonna eat something fresh.
Oh, don't eat that. I need to get out of here before they find out. Oh no, they're gonna eat it. I mean, they don't know what it tastes like when it's good. At least they're gonna cook it, I guess. I just don't recommend eating one of the things that when it goes inside of your human body, it takes over the body and like for a lifetime, he like transforms you and takes you over. Like, let's maybe not eat those things. Just in case. I would definitely take some convincing.
How did you get past the guards? Speak!
I brought them up, yeah.
I brought the guard a bristleworm, and he let me in.
I'm going to have those morons killed. You seem harmless enough, too soft to be dangerous, but you do have the stink of the flesh on you. I'll be keeping an eye on you.
Ah, so you really don't like the flay?
Those worm-headed bastards were pilfering our children for their parasites for years. Inbred swines can't even have kids of their own. They come out looking like smashed up maggots. Extra limbs, no eyes. So, they come for ours. Took the pregnant women, stole crying babies from their cradles. Let those parasites crawl into them and take over. The slingshot here keeps the flay out. Vibrations inside it makes their worms go mad, start burrowing deeper into them. Eventually turns their brains into soup. To think we were once the same people. How far they have fallen.
Oh, that's distressing. So the flay can't have kids. So they're not I thought they were like I thought they were breeding and having children, and then there's this tragedy of like these poor children being born in this society where they're immediately going to be indoctrinated and like taken over by parasites and so on. But it's even worse. They can't have kids because they come out deformed, so they steal kids. So every single one of those people in the entire settlement, it's not some generational tradition or anything, or a culture that's just distressing. No. They steal everyone. So all those people were kidnapped children, the entire settlement. So it's just a shitty, fucked up worm parasite monster creature that's invading people. Like there really is no people there. Like there is no original society of humans.
The slingshot is the only thing keeping your children safe?
Yeah, without it, we would have died out a long time ago. We're refugees. The slingshot is our saving grace. This base was a Boss refugee outpost. The statue there was dragged from the Boss decades. We found the slingshot in an old agnate base and brought it here where it keeps the flay away from us. We heard its vibrations have even reached their metal city, stopping them from spreading out.
We're getting close to the boss. So there's a statue from boss here. Maybe I can get coordinates from it.
I'm sorry your people went through all of that. The slingshot is very important to you.
Yeah, but it is failing. Every day the signal is weaker. Every day the signal is weaker. It's failing. We're tired. We don't want to run anymore. We're looking for a more permanent solution.
What sort of solution?
A weapon. In the lost city of Boss. Our ancestors were building a weapon to deal a final blow to the agnates. Find us that weapon, let us destroy the flay, and we will not need the slingshot anymore.
There we go. Find the more permanent solution, and then I get the slingshot. Otherwise, if I take it, I'm killing their children. It's not really hard to pick a side in this particular conflict.
So you want me to find an ancient city and commandeer a lost super weapon?
And time is wasting. Good luck.
Yeah. Alright, well I need that slingshot. So there we go. There we go, we found the slingshot and the red mercury. We just now have to figure out how to solve these two groups' problems. Which is a relatively rare thing. I often am like, where am I even going next half the time? Or like, where am I going to go and why? But in this one's case, we have a really clear motivation at this point. We have 2 remaining items we're looking for. We know where both of them are and how to get them. And well, it's about solving how to get them, but we know who has them and what they want.
I think I can access this terminal.
Slingshot device secured. So that's the terminal for the slingshot device. Is that the statue? Can I get there? Yeah. Oh wait, those are like Patreon subscribers or Kickstarter. I keep saying Patreon out of habit, I guess. Yes. We have the coordinates. Yes, and I know who to take the coordinates to.
Looks like this place is sinking.
This whole place is worrying. There's like 10 reasons to have anxiety about this place. I don't know how they live here. There's no way to cross the dilapidated bridge. So there's giant alligators in the water. Everything's polluted to the point of being murderous. The whole thing is sinking into said water that's deadly, both because of the creatures and the pollution. And there's lake monsters that want to eat everybody. And the only I mean, not lake monsters, there's worm creatures that want to come, like, infiltrate everybody and take their bodies over. And on top of that, the only thing keeping those people away from taking all your children is failing. Like, there's so many things going wrong here. Fucking run anywhere else. Clumps of mangrove sway slightly in the sulfurous air. I haven't seen a lot of amazing places to live in this game, but this might be one of the worst ones. I'm a little confused how they landed on the idea that this is their remaining option. And like, what, like how... Surely you could flee from the flay by going significantly further. Like, do y'all need a ride? Like, can I get y'all in my vehicle and just taxi you all to a different region where you build a better society in a less shitty place? Because this place is a nightmare. I'd like to introduce y'all to Witherberg. I don't always have a lot to get from these drawings. They're neat looking. All the structures in Mongrel territory seem to have a layer of grime and rust on them. Alright guys, it's progress time, boyos. In my head, all those pieces are falling into place. I wonder if we're late in the game. It's hard to say, but we might be. So we need to go to the Warden, teleport to a different map, and then we need to go to the map that has the hanging nexus, because I now have coordinates. Please help. Please.
Jeez, there's so many bugs in this place.
Uh-oh. A long list of glyphs makes up the Warden exit coordinates for Bass. Was Bass just an option boss? Was that just an option at the Warden? I wasn't looking at all the sidebar options. I thought I needed to take the coordinates to that machine. But maybe I blazed right past it. Maybe it's just one of the entire maps I can go to. No. Zozo, Slag, Saxon World, Vesta, unknown. Unhelpful. I have no idea what I'm expected to do. I'm gonna go back. Maybe I missed something. This is like, it's like I said, everything's falling into place. This clearly has to be where I go. It's not ambiguous. But I can't talk to the machine. The Guardian won't speak to me all of a sudden. There's no option to give it the coordinates. What about here? That's a dead end. I'm thinking of down here, aren't I? Maybe I need to hook into the place where I originally turned them on. Oh, here we go. Input new Warden coordinates. Well, that's very bright. So the locations here are called Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, and Zeta. A, B, C... no. A, B, G, D, E, Z. Weird skip. Well, I'm glad I solved the problem. Weird finickiness, though. It's weird that she's up here is framed as like a character that will help me, but I can't give it to her. I have to go to the terminal, I guess.
The outage has been disseminated across the Warden plexus. I have enabled Warden access at the new endpoint. Now, leave me to hide for the reviled, my friends.
Leave me. I must continue to be the saddest. Hoo hoo hoo. Hoo 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 hoo. They're dead. They're all dead. Boo hoo. The Mupani. The greatest among us. The Mupani. Mupani. Sorry, I'm having too much fun with that name that sounds like Muppets. Oh my god, we're getting late in the game. It feels like this whole screen's full up of stuff. I just got one thing I need to get here. Is that the new one? Yeah, Chiron. We've heard of Chiron a few times from other characters. And here we have the boss platform. All we're missing is this top one. Maybe that's the ending or something. Then this one we have that's not connected to the network. I can access it, just not directly. Oh. I'm sure the air here is great to breathe.